Yo, what's going on, guys? Hey, I want to talk to you about something really important that one of my supporters asked me about. He wanted me to make a long form content video, but I'm not going to really do a super long content format video for this. But he was asking about what are some of the best starter bikes that you can get if you're a brand new rider. And so I kind of wanted to touch on that right now. And I'm going to give you 4 bikes, right? 4 bikes, 4 different categories, honestly, 4 different categories. And we're going to talk about kind of like the pros and cons and what may be for you and what may not be for you. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. The first bike is going to be in the street bike or the sport bike category. I'm going to suggest that you start on probably like a Kawasaki Ninja 400, simply because it's super lightweight, it's super nimble, and you can cruise up to about 80-85 miles an hour without having to, comfortably, without feeling like you can't ride on the highway per se, right? Now, you are going to be pretty vulnerable to like crosswinds and stuff because it's a super light bike, but you're going to have more confidence after building up months and months of riding for when you're ready to actually move up to something bigger, right? It's also sports oriented, so if you want to get comfortable with that sport bike feel, a Ninja 400 is going to definitely put you in that same realm. It's actually pretty awesome because back in 2004, when I first started on a Ninja 250, they just didn't look that good. They were boxy. Now, it's crazy how you can get a low-powered bike and they still look like a super sport. So, yeah, definitely check out the Ninja 400. If you're feeling ballsy, go for the Ninja 500. And that way you won't feel as tempted to jump to a ZX6R like super fast. Let's see. The number 2 bike. We're going to talk about a cruiser class bike, right? We're going to be talking about the Honda Rebel 300. The Honda Rebel 300 is a classic. I would suggest this more for anybody that has taken the MSF or ACE course, and you got to learn on their bikes, right? And you're feeling comfortable with those type of bikes, because usually when you take the MSF course, you don't bring your own bike, you'll be using one of theirs, and one of theirs is usually going to be some type of cruiser, some type of 250 cruiser. So if you want to kind of continue in that line to build up your confidence, the Rebel 300 is absolutely pretty dope. It's super lightweight. It's got a super low seat height, so you're going to feel much more confident and more comfortable with the ergonomics of the bike, especially if you've just taken the course and you're used to that little 250. Again, like the Ninja 400, it's going to top out probably about 80-85 miles an hour, so it's going to feel kind of underpowered on the highway, but it doesn't mean that you can't travel on the highway. If you want to be more relaxed, I would say definitely go for this, because this is going to be the most comfortable when you're just riding light to light within the inner city. And, you don't have to worry about being too fast or keeping up with the traffic. Number 3, we're going to talk about an adventure bike. This one's going to come from Honda yet again. It's going to be the Honda the Honda CB500X, and this is going to be an adventure bike. All right, adventure bikes are pretty damn cool. They're really easy to ride. They're pretty versatile for like if you're just commuting or if you're gonna go on kind of like a longer distance. So for like if you were like a college student or something like that and you kind of live off campus, you don't really want to stand out too much as far as like having a sport bike or a really nice cruiser, something that most people would target and steal. I would really go for this adventure bike, because like I said, it's going to get you from point A to point B to point C. It's tall enough, it's comfortable enough, it's super lightweight, and you can actually take it off-road, obviously, if you live in an area where you need to do such a thing. But if you really want a comfortable touring bike, this is going to be the way to go. Again, may not necessarily be for younger riders, but maybe the older rider who wants to get into motorcycling and they definitely don't want to be on a street bike. They definitely don't want to be on a cruiser. They want something more adventurous, right? Something more upright, something a little more comfortable from going around town, maybe off-roading, right? It's going to be your choice. Again, this bike is usually probably a good way to go for most middle-aged older riders who are just getting into riding. Number 4, the last option, man. This is going to be a Supermoto. This is going to be the classic Suzuki GSXR-1000 SM. This bike is going to kind of basically do everything else the other bikes do and may actually do it a little better for you. This one, I would say this is going to be more for the people who do have a little bit of riding experience with dirt bikes. So if you grew up kind of riding dirt bikes, and you're kind of not sure if you want to go into a street bike or a cruiser, you don't really know if you want to go into a full adventure bike, you want to go with something that's a little more comfortable for you, or maybe you have always wanted like a dirt bike, this is going to be your bike. Supermoto is going to be your bike because it is basically a street legal dirt bike. You know what I mean? You're going to be able to flick that thing around. It's super beginner friendly. They usually don't have like 5 speeds. So, you know, it's going to be something that you can really get the hold of super, super quickly. Also, if you are learning to ride before you get a license, you know, most people try to go out and buy like the pocket bikes or the electric dirt bikes like the Surons and stuff like that. Things of that nature. It's going to get you really, really ready for when you get that license. So most people will feel kind of comfortable just going in that same direction. Now, for long distances, I would say it's probably going to be super uncomfortable because those seats are really hard and they're honestly meant for off-roading, right? For the most part. So I definitely wouldn't really recommend it for like highway riding or long distance riding because, like I said, the seat's really uncomfortable. It's super light, so you're gonna get blown around a lot. It has like no screen protection or no windshield or anything like that. No kind of windshield or something like that, like you would get on the Honda Rebel 300, right? I forgot to mention that earlier. But the Cruiser is obviously going to give you a shield, kind of help you fight that wind when you're on the highway. So you're not going to get any of that with the Supermoto. It's pretty raw, rugged, and basically like a dirt bike, man. So if you like urban riding or just kind of like going off-road every so often, that's your bike, man. So hopefully, like I said, I would say if you really, really want a sporty look, and you really want to like a kind of like a track kind of inspired like vibe with some more highway capability versus the others, I would definitely say go with the Ninja 400. If you're, like I said, if you're feeling ballsy, go with the Ninja 500, right? I got a boy that first started on his first bike, and I think he bought the Ninja 500. Not soon after that, he got the ZX6R, and then not long after that, he went and got the new model Nightster from Harley Davidson. So he's super into it, and he's actually going to keep them all. He's going to convert one to the track. I think it's going to be the ZX6. But if I were him, I would probably do the 500. That would definitely give you some super confidence. But for the Rebel 300, the Honda Rebel 300, like I said, if you want more of a laid back, low seat cruising style, that's going to be for you. Most people are kind of going to go and gravitate towards that simply if they have already used the cruisers during their motorcycle safety course to get their license. They're going to feel most comfortable with that because that's what they used. The CB500X, it's basically going to be for everybody that wants like daily commuting and like kind of like light weekend adventure tours. Again, you could take this bike off-road if that's what you're wanting to do, and it's going to suit probably the enthusiast who doesn't want to go like full off-road and go hardcore and doesn't necessarily want to they're going to prefer to stay on the street more. Now, if you are somebody who wants to go off-road for the most part, right, and you're not necessarily worried about highway speeds, you're not necessarily worried about like comfortability for long rides, definitely go with the DRZ 400 SM from Suzuki. It's going to be the coolest supermoto that you've ever driven, and it's actually probably going to be way more fun than the Ninja 400. It's going to have a lot of torque. You're probably going to be able to learn how to wheelie on that thing. You're going to have a lot of fun on it, man. So again, hopefully this helps you guys out. If you're trying to make your decision, definitely consider these options, and let me know how it goes. Anyway, catch you in the next one. Peace.